Hi there. In this lecture we see Bobby Fischer playing against Karl Robatsch. So this is the 1962 Varna Olympiad. Karl Robatsch, as well as having his name associated with what is now known as the modern defence, but also it can be called still the Robatsch defence, is this version of Pietz where the knight is not deployed early on. It keeps some flexibility. So the kind of Robatsch or modern defence, it's a very similar to the, it can transpose into Piet's defence lines. But anyway, in this game, Fischer plays e4, and Robatsch actually plays the Scandinavian defence in this particular game. I just want to say, though, also, it's interesting to check these players up on Wiki to get some background information. And in fact, Robatsch was a fantastic team player in these Olympiads generally. And I have to say, he had an absolutely stunning result in a previous Olympiad to the Varna Olympiad 1962. I just want to mention, he became an international master in 1957, grandmaster in 1961. And he did spend a lot of time dedicated serving Austrian chess. So he actually represented Austrian chess at 11 chess Olympiads and won European team championship. Up until his last Olympiad in 1994. He played first board on every occasion and returned impressive results. But this is the one which really intrigued me. At the 1960 Leipzig Olympiad, he had a fantastic score, scoring like 84.4%, taking board one gold medal. And he was just an international master. And that's the year he also became Austrian champion. So a really fantastic Austrian player and legend here. But let's see what happened in this particular game. So Fischer took on d5. We have queen takes d5. Robatsch has also been known to play knight f6. Maybe that's an interesting alternative as well. But this is a standard way of playing the Scandinavian. We have queen d8, d4. Now slightly unusual g6. A more solid treatment here is quite often being used to sort of get the bishop outside of the pawn chain, e6 and c6, and try and set up, a fairly solid position. But here, yeah, g6, Fischer actually plays very specifically here. He doesn't play routinely against this fianchetto. He actually plays bishop f4. And this betrays the idea that Fischer's going to try and castle queenside and swap off that bishop, as though he's playing a Sicilian dragon. We have bishop g7, and now a very, very clever move indeed in the opening phase of this game. Can you see what Fischer plays in this position? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. It looks as though the pawn needs to be defended. But Fischer actually played queen d2. And that's it. And the pawn is actually ignored. We have knight f6. If bishop takes d4, white just castles. And there's big trouble here. Knight c6, then bishop b5. And if bishop takes c3, we have queen takes d8 is checkmate. If e5 here, white plays bishop takes e5, and this is crushing. Again, if bishop takes e5, this will be checkmate. So yeah, it's bad news, isn't it? Basically, queen takes d4 here on bishop g4. So yeah, very interesting queen d2 move. So already it seems Fischer's put his opponent, unfortunately, on a back foot here, on a serious back foot. You might ask, hold on, Kingscrusher, hold on. What about queen takes d4? Again, it's a back foot because here there's knight d5 actually. Looking at c7, and a quick disaster is knight a6, and a lesser issue but still problematic is this position after bishop takes c7. All these lines, white's gaining a significant advantage basically to crushing. So anyway, knight f6, and white castles queenside. So Fischer hasn't made use of, he's delayed his knight, like the Robatsch, in fact, the modern defence. The knight on g1's been delayed here. We see c6, and again, the knight's not even used, just bishop h6, black castles. And again, Fischer's very direct in this game, h4, very, very direct. It seems as though, and like this game and the game against Neudorf, I don't know if Fischer's highly alert at this time when these games are being played. His openings seem very aggressive and innovative in this particular Olympiad. So very direct. We have Queen A5, and Fischer just gets on with it. He plays like a total caveman, H5. We have G takes H5. If Knight takes H5, yes, like a dragon, Black's going to get slaughtered quite often in the dragon. Black gets slaughtered. But here, for example, like this, it's not boding well. It's only the Queen holding up the crashing through. And with this kind of move, the attack's crashing through. It's or a big advantage, or both. It looks very unpalatable, but this also looks wretched to fragment the pawns. We have here bishop d3, depriving the possibility of bishop f5 to g6. Knight bd7, knight ge2, rook d8, and now a really interesting move indeed, really interesting, just to rip open the lines against the king. Can you see what Fischer played here? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. Okay, g4, it's just trying to open up the lines against the king. We have knight f8 trying to ignore that. If knight takes g4 as an example, then the rook just slides over here. If knight takes, queen takes, that's end of game. But otherwise, this is a very problematic position. There's too much pressure on the king side here. It's all falling apart. So, yeah, knight f8. But now, g takes h5, opens up the g file and closes the h file. An interesting decision, but it also makes sure white's controlling the g6 square with a pawn. We have knight e6, rook dg1, king h8. I mean, Fischer's making this game look very direct, cruel, and easy. He's ticking quite a few strange boxes you wouldn't expect against one of the kind of Olympiad champions of the game, Karl Robatsch, who scored a gold medal just in a previous Olympiad. This looks like a very direct, attacking, crushing game. Queen h6, threatening checkmate. Rook g8, rook g5, gaining a key tempo to double rooks on the queen. Ouch. So the rooks are now doubled. Everything's at full force. And Black's last move is knight f5 of this game, because guess what Fischer plays here, which ends things. If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. Okay, bishop takes f5. This is much stronger than anything else. Rook takes g8 comes in seconds in strength, but knight takes g8 attacks the queen. If white has to resort to this move as one of the better moves, it's only about equal. Yeah, that would be a problem. Yeah. Okay, so, but with bishop takes f5, this is a big problem. Indeed, this is a huge problem. If the game continued with bishop takes f5, then rook takes g8 check, and there's a big snag here. That knight takes g8, there's queen g7 checkmate. Queen takes g8, we snap off the queen and drop back, for example, and white's got a huge advantage here. Yeah. The openings have been very, fascinating in this Olympiad from Fischer, and he's also had the luxury maybe of some short wins, giving him extra rest on other days. So maybe he's just more rested as well sometimes than opponents, because he's had some pretty short games as well prior to some of the rounds. But this is early in actually round 4, this particular game. But yeah, generally there are some very sparkling, short and sweet games in this Olympiad from Bobby Fischer to learn from. But this is one of them. Very, very direct play, innovative opening, in fact, I would say, with this early delaying the knight to play Queen d2. This is very, very cunning stuff, Queen d2. A lot of pressure mounting here. Okay, yeah, I mean, very direct attacking game indeed. It's made a strong impression on me, this game. Every time I see it, it makes a very strong impression on me. Okay, thanks so much. Hi guys, if you enjoyed this video lecture, you might want to get more at my course Kingscrusher TV/Bobby Fischer, which I had a blast creating over 25 hours of video content. I tried to get the most instructive juice out of every single game covered and picking the most important games from this period. I had an absolute blast creating it, and I think you'll have an absolute blast checking it out. And it's at a big discount code with this link. You know, Kingscrusher TV/Bobby Fischer has the discount code. So I hope you do check that out. Thanks very much.